Okay, go.
Okay, so the way that this came about is I've had 7 kids out this week, sick, and we just have this brand new concept of tape diagrams added in to our curriculum. So today the problem set was going over tape diagrams, and it wanted me to have the kids working in their books while I did them on the board, and I thought no. So to review this lesson with the kids that were sick, and also to have some of my tier 2 kids practice to get better and proficient at tape diagrams, I had 2 kids come up to model while the other kids were, the first time they didn't, the other kids were not doing it on whiteboards, but after they watched the first time, everybody then had a whiteboard so that they were engaged. Let's just do it from the, like, we'll do it, you can do it at the same time, whiteboard. So I read them a problems like, Peter built 18 model planes. He built 13 airplanes and some cars. How many car models did Peter build? So you guys are gonna write it, hide it, while these guys are doing it on the board.
And this is called Dueling Diagrams.
Dueling Diagrams. I made that up.
You need to copyright it.
I know, I should copyright it before it's in a EL curriculum somewhere.
So Brendan, the 2 that were at the board are your tier 1 kiddos that understood it?
Actually, these were tier 2 kids that I've been working with a lot one-on-one during concept development that I knew had gotten really good at this. So I chose these tier 2 kids so that they would have practice in front of the class and build a little bit of confidence. So no, these were actually not my strongest. However, we did talk about in CPT doing it first with stronger kids and then moving on to kids that maybe need to practice. So you could do it either way.
And who are these kids?
This is just whole class. Everybody else is at whiteboards
Okay.
doing it at the carpet so that they're not just sitting around doing nothing.
Okay.
And it gives them a chance to practice the concept. Okay, and hopefully somebody has made a mistake. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna evaluate, thumbs up, sideways, down. Did both of these students reach an answer? So these guys would.
Okay.
So yes, it looks like, Kara, did you agree or were you not sure? Okay, so they both agree. So yes, what's the answer, everybody?
5.
You guys show it. Then I would check, make sure. Yes, looks like we have lots of 5s. All right, you guys put your boards and markers down, eyes on the board. Let's talk about what Anna did well and things that maybe Anna could see as an opportunity for growth. So what's something that Anna did well? Alex.
She drew all of her circles horizontally and she showed the parts and the total.
That's true.
And I recognize the relationship between parts and total because that's my SWABAT for today.
Good.
There it is.
Is there something that could be fixed, Kara?
I think she could label her diagram.
Good. Do you think you could label it? First of all, Anna, what's this part?
While we were talking, I was gonna ask for you to repeat the question. Because
Oh.
I, like kids, forgot the labels.
Good, good.
So that's
So,
partly why I didn't label
Peter
it.
had
but then
18
also-
models.
Okay.
He built 13 airplanes and some cars. How many car models did Peter build? Perfect. Good. Is there anything else that Anna could do to fix her problem? Yes.
She could shade in every circle after 10
Why?
so that she can show a group of 10.
One of the reasons we want to do this with showing the groups of 10 and shading after the 10 is because then if you have to go back and count, you don't have to count by ones. So you would know right away, I'm going to show you as she's working, that this group of 10 is 10. You could count 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So it makes it quicker. Especially if you get into a really long tape diagram with like 30, then you can see the groups of 10 really easily. It helps kids count. Great. Also, what goes here?
The 5.
Good job, Anna. Evaluate Anna's tape diagram. Nice job, you can see. So then you would go through that same process with Liz's work, talk about what's good, what she could fix. Like I would write models maybe. Other than that, it's pretty perfect.
I
Yes.
just have a question. Would she also need to write 13 and 15 next to the A and the C?
Good job. Yeah, I would write it either here or here, but she didn't label it with a number, so yeah, good noticing. Yes.
And since we knew the total in one of the parts, our number model could also be 18 minus 13 equals 5.
Correct. Good job. So you could relate it back to subtraction. Nice. So then you would go through the same process again with we were talking about doing it with kids that were absent or kids that are struggling so that they would get a chance to practice.
Can you tell me the successes that you found when you did this?
So we did it with 2 of our tier 2 kids and they both got the answer correct. They forgot things like labels, they had some backwards numbers, but they felt really successful getting up in front of the class and modeling the correct way to do this, even though they had some things to fix. It also helped with the kids that hadn't had a chance to practice before because they got to come up and do it. And then I also noticed one of our students who was on this side kind of self-assessing, looking over, not so much copying, but seeing what did I miss? What did I not include? Watching what the other student was doing. So like he had this, but he was missing this part. So he's looking over like, oh yeah, I didn't do labels. So it was just a way for everybody to be assessing their work.
And would you do anything differently in the future? Did you notice anything that you would do?
You know, the first time I had them do it, the whole class didn't have a whiteboard, and because they were kind of squirmy-wormy, that's when I decided everybody should be practicing at the same time. So I think I would start with everyone having a whiteboard to begin. That's probably the one thing I'd do differently. Did you guys think there was anything that we could adjust?
No.
I like the idea of starting strong and having a couple kids go that are really strong in it so that they can model, be exemplar, and then after that having some struggling kids come up. And just keeping it positive too.
And
There was one moment where I had a kid laughing because the backwards 5 and we shut that down pretty quick.
I also thought it was good to choose kids at the beginning that you knew wouldn't get everything perfect because they had the basic stuff down,
Right.
so they weren't ashamed that they got the answer wrong, but then you could still build on it by adding things that
Right.
they could do better.
Yep.
And do you think it would be helpful if they had the RDW? Would that be, or did you have the anchor chart?
I feel like
or did you what?
well, there's always the problem set anchor chart in our rooms, but I feel like we've ingrained RDW
Yeah.
into them so much, and because they're just drawing the tape diagram, we don't expect them to have the number sentence or the statement.
For this, yeah.
Okay.
So it was more of a draw it, less of a write it.
When that is the case, though, my kids will write our DWW.
We
and
do
they'll
have
check
the-
it
yeah.
off if they've taken care of that part of the problem.
And that's something that came from Alex actually, is Alex has her kids do RDWW like this, and then they can check to make sure that they did the parts. So they do that on their own actually.
My kids
Yeah.
write it. Yep.
Do that, okay. Yep.
Okay, let's pretend we have our Bam Bam sticks. Yay!